Headaches are something that plague millions of Americans and we help people with on a daily basis. So when it comes to headaches, the old way of dealing with headaches was trying things like medications, right? It could either be over the counter, like Excedrin, ibuprofen, Tylenol, these type of things, or it could be something, prescribed by your doctor, some more heavy medications, right? Some people just try drinking water. It's like, hey, let me just get water. Maybe some people just rest or sleep. They get a bad migraine. They have to shut it down for the whole night, close the curtains, be in a dark place and just rest and sleep, okay? Those are kind of what I would say is the old ways of dealing with headaches. When it comes to headaches, there are numerous causes, but a huge percentage of headaches are actually shown in research to be cervicogenic, or basically an issue with the neck, or also a lack of blood flow or cerebrospinal fluid up to the brain. Okay, if you don't address these root cause problems, these core dysfunctions, you can continue to have headaches and they're not going to resolve. And something I like to think about is like, hey, what is the cause of these? If you go to your medical doctor and they say, oh, you need this medication, I would tend to think to myself, hey, am I having these headaches because I have a lack of this medication in my body? Is that the reason I'm having these? If the answer to that is no, then why don't we find what the reason is that we're having these headaches and actually try to correct that at the core dysfunction, okay? So that's why in our office, we use what's called upper cervical and chiropractic biophysics techniques. We do a thorough analysis with that. So we're gonna look at your posture. We'll look at it both from a visual standpoint and a computerized standpoint. We'll take any necessary digital x-rays and use advanced digital analysis on those. We'll do a spinal exam. We'll even check your range of motion. And a couple very specific things we're gonna be looking at when it comes to headaches. Number one is your atlas alignment. The atlas is actually your top bone in the neck. And people don't realize that we have a couple things. Number one, the vertebral artery runs through that bone and supplies blood up into the head. And then also the internal jugular vein sits directly in front of the atlas to drain old blood from the brain. So unfortunately, if that top bone in our neck shifts or slides or rotates, we can actually see on an MRI that it's pinching down on those blood vessels. And then we can either get not enough blood flow up into the brain, or the old blood flow that's in the brain can't drain properly. That can lead to debilitating headaches. So that's a common one we see with atlas misalignment. Another one we'll look at is cervical curve. We should have a nice banana-shaped curve in our neck, and the vertebral artery actually runs through those bones. So if we start to lose the curve in the neck, or worst case, even go to a reverse curve, it can actually stretch and put tension not only on those blood vessels, but also on our spinal cord. Our spinal cord is a very delicate tissue and it should sit nicely in the canal, but if the canal changes shape, it can actually tug and pull on that, leading to extended headaches. So if we look at those, correcting the mechanical problem gets lasting results. That's what we want to do. If you think about having poor wiring in your house, right? Like wires are pinched or strained, the lights will flicker and your appliances will fail, right? So what we need to do is not just go change the light bulb because it's flickering. No, the problem is actually with the wiring. So we need to actually look at that from an exam standpoint and correct it at its core dysfunction and make sure that that problem is corrected for good and we're not just trying to patch up the symptoms anymore. So there's more information below. You can read about our approach to headaches. I encourage you, if you like what you see, like what you hear, go ahead and just book an appointment. Okay, you can click request appointment now or new patient special, and we'll sit down and take you through our intake process, which includes going through a deep dive medical history. We're going to do our full examination, which I talked about earlier. We'll sit down and do a full doctor's report of findings after our team of doctors have had a chance to review your case. If it looks like a case we're willing to accept and work with, we'll say, hey, here's what we found. Here's the expectations. Here's how long we think it'll take for you to heal. Here's what you need to do. Here's the cost. We lay out all that information for you so you have it up front and can make an educated decision. So go ahead, click that button. We look forward to talking to you soon.